and welcome to the show where after the collision, we sift through
that wreckage.
That wreckage.
That wreckage.
There you go.
I gotta put some sizzle into this, man. These guys just, they haven't seen the Dynamite that I saw. They haven't seen the collision that I saw. This was one of the greatest Dynamites. This was one of the greatest collisions that I, the Professor, have ever seen. And when the Professor is the most objective man in this IWC, YWC, PWC punditry, he ain't lying to you. He ain't lying.
Provo, as you
I know exactly the reason the Professor's here. There's only one reason the Professor's here. We'll get to that later.
What?
Just here to rub a little something in.
Well, we're gonna have one hell of a show. But as I was gonna say, I am your host, Jimmy T. He is the best in the world, Jamie the Vet Williams, and as you just heard, that is the magnanimous, the glorious, the Professor Chabelo Vera Cruz, and you are watching live and listening to the Wreckage live right here on Hangman Media Group's YouTube channel, and of course on channelattitude.com. After the fact, I just want to thank the chat already strong. It's just going crazy in the chat. Thank you guys for all joining us. And Vet, what's going on, man? I mean, I felt these shows absolutely sucked. Actually, if anything, maybe Collision was kind of a little better, I might say, but not by much. But Dynamite, Jesus Christ, bro.
Yeah, there's nothing explosive about it. Explosive diarrhea, maybe. I don't know how they can. I don't even know what to say. Lost for words.
Well, it killed me, put it that way, as I was telling you guys off the air. But Prof, you're the excited one here, bro. I mean, I don't know what you were watching, but clearly we weren't watching the same thing.
No. You just don't like to look at it in its full context. I mean, the greatest of all time, of course, David Meltzer, shockingly will name him Booker of the Year for 2025. Tony Khan has brought back a title that hasn't been seen on TBS in 40 years, even though he's brought back a title that has the same nuance that already was originally happened when it was called the All-Atlantic title, when it was rechristened the International title, but he has two of the titles in the same context with the AEW National Heavyweight Championship. I'm just saying, that's why I love Dynamite. And I know it's later in the day, it's later in the review by the eloquent Vet, but you know what? We got women's rights. We have women's rights issues going on crazily. I mean, I'm talking about Nixon Newell and what's her name? Maria Elise, whatever her name is. But Tegan Knox and Elise, the lesbian couple, HLA. I don't know if that's their name, Vet, but Vet's got that tag team name down cold. But anyway, HLA. They pulled a Mercedes Moné and Naomi back a couple of years ago. I don't know if it's in the same context. I mean, so excuse me, but again, this is why I love Dynamite, Jimmy. This is why I love Collision. Maybe it's not because of that. It's not because of what happened in the ring. It's just what happened in the context of outside the ring.
Wow. You know what? Since you bring it up, Vet, did you have something to say before I was going to?
I was just going to say I'm so happy that the Professor's here because we could have done this show in about 25 minutes without him, but he's going to really save us here. He's going to be like the the savior for the people and all the Haminites and everything like that. Otherwise, this is about to be a depressing, low energy, nothing happening episode of the Wreckage. So I'm very grateful that the Professor is locked and loaded and ready to go.
You know what? So am I, man, because as you were saying off the air, Prof, both the Vet and myself are just not feeling it today, but you're here to save it. So you are here. You are the magnanimous one and you are the glorious one, of course. But allude to what you're getting into, because people wants to know what is going on. These two basically flat out didn't want to do the job to what's it called in their match. They didn't want to do this. They didn't want to do that. Tony Khan pretty much told him get stuffed after that. What happened?
Well, it's kind of like twofold here because the vet, I really need you to really listen to this and then give your, wrestler's eye on this, because again, people will have two different perspectives, not professors' perspectives, but perspectives on it.
Mm-hmm.
So Nixon Newell and Miranda Elise, HLA, was supposed to be booked on Collision and to do the job in 3 minutes or less to T&J, whatever they're called. And I guess they refused to do it. This is the initial reports from Fightful and all that stuff. So take it with a grain of salt, guys. Again, this is not gospel here, but take it with a grain of salt. That's what the initial reports are. This is the funny shit. But they refused to do the job. I think the issue for them was they didn't mind losing to T&J because, again, I think they understood the parameters, Vet. They knew that T&J were going into that AEW's Women's World Tag Team Championships. They needed the momentum and all that stuff to go in. So probably they did not mind losing to them, but I guess they felt insulted that Tony Khan allotted 3 minutes, and that was it. So I guess 1 hour before Collision went on the air, or maybe during the show, they just said, fuck it, they took their bags and went home, or whatever the case may be. But again, Vet, I think that's the parameters of this. They just looked at it as an insult that Tony Khan allotted 3 minutes for T&J to beat them senselessly and all that stuff. So from what I say, Jimmy, is this. Tony Khan has all the rights in the world because he's the booker and all that stuff, Jimmy. If he's going to allow 3 minutes, that's his prerogative. Just like Vince McMahon had his prerogatives of booking people that we've said, you know what, they didn't book. He did not see the way that we saw it. That's just his choosing. But on the flip side, Vet, Nixon Newell and Miranda Elise are not signed to AEW, so they didn't get that all elite tweet from Tony Khan. So maybe they, in one hand, they're still auditioning for Tony Khan, but on the other hand, they just don't see that Tony Khan is respecting these two ladies. So, Vet, the floor is yours. I just gave you the parameters. Again, take it with a grain of salt from Fightful and all that stuff. I mean, but that's the initial report. But Twitter's or X is going crazy with the E-drones and the sickos trying to defend. One is trying to defend Tony Khan for doing the right thing in their eyes. You gotta earn your stripes in AEW. You just because Tegan Nox came from WWE does not mean she gets carte blanche. And on the other side, the E-drones are saying that, wait a minute, you were applauding Mercedes or Sasha Banks years ago for doing the same thing. She did not like the booking of Vince McMahon and all that stuff, and she and Naomi left. So karma is a bitch. Don't be hypocrites. Vet, the floor is yours.
Well, Jimmy, you look like you want to say one thing real quick. So
yeah, I'm going to add to what you're going to answer now, pretty much. So what I was going to say is, so basically, okay, they've got every right to do whatever they want, but doesn't this make Tony Khan look just weak now at this point, in your opinion, Vet? Because he let Rusev, for example, sit on the couch for how many months, for example, before he got friggin' let go and done nothing.
Under contract, Jimmy.
Under contract. You're right.
It's not even in the same ballpark, not even in the same league, not even in the same sport. Neither is the Mercedes and Naomi thing either. That's a completely different situation. Walking out to nothing new in wrestling, nothing new in not liking your booking or whatever. There's a way to do it, and they didn't do it. Okay, so the thing is, you do always have to stand up for yourself. That is true. If you don't like the booking, you have to stand up for yourself. But there's still professionalism involved. Okay? I didn't like my booking the entire time I was a wrestler, pretty much. To the point that whenever Rip would give me the pencil for my own match, I booked myself to go over because we lost so much that I had to balance it out somehow. Right? So it's all about being a professional in the moment. So if you go to the building and you see your name on the board, and this is not a safety issue, it's, you heard the stories about people that would show up to WCW tapings, see themselves across from Vader, and would leave. They sneak out the back.
Road
right?
Warriors also.
I remember, Road Warriors. I remember, Rip Rogers would tell a story about like he'd go in, see his name on the board across from somebody, and then cross it out, write Ole Anderson's name in. Which would pop Ole because Ole was booking.
Sure.
So. There's but those things aside, like if it's not your fear for your life or safety or things like that, if it's just that you don't like the creative, if you just don't like the bookings, and you're not in this situation, these ladies, as a professor stated, are not under contract. They're on a handshake per appearance deal. Okay, if you get to the building, you see the writing on the wall, literally. Okay, you don't like it. Here's what you do. You do it, and then you never come back when you're invited. You do the job. You do exactly what you're supposed to do, exactly what they ask you to. Shake everybody's hand, leave the building, and the next time they call you, you don't pick up. Because if you feel like it's not worth your time, you can have that conversation at that point. But when you've already came all the way there, what you're effectively doing by walking out like this in this specific situation is you're blacklisting yourself from everybody else because they don't want to now have you come to their show and then be a problem or that you're going to walk out again. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but if anybody knows, did not this Nixon Newell, that ain't even a real fucking name. Does she not go on social media and say it's tough to get bookings?
Yes, she did.
Well, guess how much tougher it's about to get now that you expose yourself.
Well, you're right.
You know, how much harder is it going to be? That's the reason why you are always professional. Always be professional because you never know where your next meal is coming from. Even if you came in and did that job, Tony Khan might never called you again. Especially if you were like, had the boo-boo face and sandbagged and, had a shitty match because you were just like, well, it's only 3 minutes, so whatever, I'm not going to try. You have to try. You have to be professional. That's the key. And it's not just wrestling. Everybody's got to do that. Stand up for yourself, but be professional. They're not two separate things. It's if you're at work and your boss is treating you some kind of way that is unethical, you have to stand up for yourself. You don't just take it because that's your boss. When the law is on your side or the company policies are on your side, you got to stand up for yourself. But you don't do a two wrongs make a right situation, right? So it doesn't even matter. Like personally, I think 3 minutes is too much. I don't ever need to see these women ever. But it doesn't matter. That's beside the point. I'm just talking about in general in the situation. That's what you do.
Bet I can understand the professionalism. I'm with you 100%. Let's just go back with the Nixon and Elise factor here, because again, for TJ, like I said, I think they needed the momentum to go into the tournament. So a 3-minute squash is fine by me. And their substitutes actually did what you said. They were professional. They did the job and all that stuff. I think, again, from the perspective to me, again, I'm not saying they're right about this. It's just that I think Nixon Newell and Marina Elise is looking at this like, look, you're trying to build this AEW's women's tag team division, right? You're trying to get credible women's tag teams with maybe a reputation to build this division somehow, some way. Again, you're right. Nixon and Marina Elise just shit the bed. Maybe future bookings in Tony Khan's world. I'm with you on that. But what say you again? Maybe they're looking at it from a bigger picture aspect. Maybe they want to be a credible women's tag team for Tony Khan's vision of the AEW's women's tag team division.
Yeah, I get that. But what I'm saying is, like, either way, you're not getting it. Like, you think you taught Tony Khan a lesson by doing this? That's my point. Like, I understand that you're disappointed that you're not getting what you want, but you will never get what you want by doing it this way. There is a possibility that, you know, you might get a run down the road. You also have to think about it in these terms. So Tegan Nox had a run in WWE, okay? I'm sorry, with all due respect, Miranda Alizé is nobody. So you've attached yourself to your girlfriend, right? And God knows how long that's going to last as a professional wrestling relationship, especially after this shit. Because now you were somewhat over because you've been on WWE TV, right? So now you're trying to look out for your partner, supposedly, but now you're taking food out of her mouth too, because it's even harder for her to get these bookings because the majority of these people are going to think, who the fuck is that? Who does she ever beat? Right? I've heard of Tegan Nox. I don't know who this chick is. And if you don't even get a chance to get in front of them and win them over because you have a reputation for not doing business, now how much resentment is that going to play into these? How many car rides are you going to have an argument? You know what I mean? Where you sit there and the tension of the situation that you created gets to you at a personal level. And now you're going to have some, if shit doesn't work out and you don't get booked, you know, that's if it was Nixon's idea to walk out, right? And Miranda just follows, then she's going to be resentful that, you know, she just cost her a bunch of money. And if it was Miranda's idea, then it should have been Nixon to be like, hey, she should have been more professional. She should have said, look, this is what we got to do. We just got to do this. And then we could talk about what happens afterwards. But we showed up, we got our gear, we got to do the match, and then we can leave and then we can talk about it. That's her job as a professional who's supposedly been around the world and done these things, been through the system and whatnot. We're not getting any of that. So I'm just saying, without knowing any of them personally, or without, you know, taking shots at people that I don't know or picking sides, I'm just looking strictly at what, you know, and who knows what happened backstage or what was said and all these other things that I don't know. But what I do know is that none of that matters. The only thing that matters from a pro wrestler professional perspective is you show up, you do that job, unless you fear for your safety. Like I said, like if you think that what they're asking you to do is too dangerous, you have to speak up then. Or if somebody wants to do some move to you and you're like, fuck that, I ain't taking that, you have to stand up for yourself then. But as far as just...
You realize that concussion move that TJ does with the bump, to, you know, using their booties?
I would take it. I would take it. I'm not saying I wouldn't take it. But I'm just saying, if you fear for your life, if you think that's too concussive, you know, you have to let them know that, but you don't walk out on them. You have to tell them that and work around it. That's the professionalism. So doesn't matter. It goes for them too. It goes for anybody else. If you get booked, you make your booking. Okay. And you do what's asked of you. And then after that, you can decide, maybe not anymore. And then everybody can have an amicable parting of ways and continue to do your own business elsewhere.
Oh, and update, guys, Jimmy.
I was going to ask.
Both Nixon and Miranda went on their personal Twitters, guys, and said there's more to the story and we'll reveal it at a later time. So just wanted to say that. So
sure there is. I was going to ask.
Yeah, I'm sure there is, but the flavor really doesn't matter because, you know, the dish has already been served and it's done.
Right, that's it. Even if it was bullshit, it's unfortunate. Right. It's still going to be on them.
Yeah, I'm not, and that's why I'm saying, like, I'm not blaming them for their decision of walking out, but I am just explaining how that is going to cost them in the future, possibly. And that's probably the reason that they want to come out and say whatever they want to say to try to save face so that they can get booked again. But how much of a difference that'll make to any individual promoter, that's up to the promoter.
It's going to screw them even if WWE ever had, you know, aspirations on bringing Nixon back, particularly. I think she's totally buried herself now in terms of, you know, making it big in pro wrestling, but it is what it is. And I was going to ask you, Prof, Do you know who the mastermind was behind this? Was it more Knox?
That part I do not know. So again, from what the Twitter I've seen from Fightful, again, take it with a grain of salt, how many nights, but again, they came to the building. They did not like, what was on the run sheet. They did not like the time limit that they were allotted, and then they bounced. So again, what was said, again, like Vet has said, from the wrestler's eye, if it wasn't, they weren't professional, Jimmy. They were not professional just to walk out. So, again, they're not under contract. And if they wanted to be all elite, they should have done what Vet said, be professional, take the L, and then Tony might reward you later, maybe with a full blown contract or, more dates, more bookings. Because I think one of the other places that Nixon Newell wrestles, what's it called? DFW or DPW, Jimmy? I don't know, one of those international places. They're going out of business in 2026. She wrestles there from time to time, and they're going out of business. So there's only 3 letters left for Nixon and maybe Miranda, and that's TNA. I don't even know if Carlos Silva wants to take them.
No, they've killed themselves, literally, man. If that's all true, we'll see what they say in the follow-up. But I believe what's being said is what the truth is. And they're trying to save face, like Vet said. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But they're idiots, plain and simple. In other news, actually, in Vet, I wanted to get your opinion on this. I'm sure you've already. I'm pretty sure you've probably even maybe spoken about it. But how do you feel about the Ridge Holland situation? Do you think what he's done is kind of I feel like he's blaming wrestling for being in the position that he's in, right? Because he got a mortgage, even though he knew that WWE wanted to fire him a year ago, pretty much. But then he took a pay cut to stay in NXT, and WWE were like, okay, sure, we'll do that. And hence why he lasted a lot longer than he did. But technically, he was meant to be released apparently a year ago.
I don't know all the details, really. I've just heard things, and I don't know what I can trust of what I've heard. I haven't seen any of this. Yeah, I know, but like, that's his side of it.
Right.
So can I trust him? Like, I don't know if he's telling the truth or if he's just bitter or whatever. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. So I really, I don't have any sympathy for Ridge Holland because like his case is not unique. There are many people that have been through the wrestling business, and when their business is done with you, it chews you up and spits you out. And if it's up to you to be responsible and take care of your business. So if you got upside down in a
Vet, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but Tian Kupata said there was a GoFundMe, but Tian Kupata, there's an update to that GoFundMe, guys. Ridge Holland has dismissed that GoFundMe. It's kind of weird. No,
that's bullshit.
He said he took a statement out that I think a family member did this GoFundMe for him. So he took the money. I don't know if he's gonna give it, but he said the money that went to his GoFundMe is going to a charity. So I just wanted to get that.
He's so full of shit. I mean, even what's funny about that? A lot of wrestlers actually threw a lot of money towards him, dude. You know what I mean? Of course, Joker does that for everybody. What's his name? Fletcher even was apparently very generous with giving him money. Chelsea Green too, right? And now you're going to tell me you're going to give all that to charity while you're complaining that he's got no money to pay his friggin' mortgage. All he knows is pro wrestling, basically, that was coming out of his mouth. Doesn't know how to do anything else. So he blames WWE for basically taking his career away from him and doesn't know what to do now. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, dude, come on, Ridge.
It's just an English version of what's happened in America many times. Couldn't cut it in rugby, so became a pro wrestler because he's big.
Exactly.
And that's the same thing here, but with American football. That's how we got Goldberg. So, but things worked out for him. He complains a lot too, though. So maybe he and Ridge should, have a chat. Maybe if Goldberg's feeling generous, he can auction off one of his cars to help pay for Ridge Holland's fucking mortgage.
What a fucking idiot, straight up, man. I'm sorry, Ridge, if you ever hear us, but he's just.
And Ridge had some bad luck in wrestling for sure. he caused some bad luck and ended a career himself, or partly did, you know, which again, that goes back to what I said the first time about you shouldn't be doing certain stuff. You know, if at any point in any conversation, no matter who suggested that Big E take a suplex on the floor from Ridge Holland, he should have just said, no, we're not doing that on a random SmackDown tonight. So, you know, I'm not blaming Big E for his own injury, but I am just saying that never should have happened in the first place. Right. But yeah, he's been unlucky, and, you know, but at the same time, like, you always have to, I do think it's necessary as a wrestler, you have to prepare for the eventuality that you're just not going to be getting a paycheck one day, and that day could be tomorrow. So you got to be smart with your money, and not do anything that you're not going to be able to take care of down the road.
True. He also, I'm just reading over here. He also is alluding to a wrestling union possibly trying to start that shit up again. It ain't happening, Ridge. Just stop it. It's not gonna happen.
Ridge Holland and Jesse Ventura standing up for wrestlers' rights. It's gonna happen, man.
Sure it will. What he doesn't understand, they're not gonna make more money. Actually, they'll make less money if that was to happen. Just quietly. What the hell? If you can hear that, don't mind that. I'm just gonna turn that off. There we go.
Is that a vibrator, Jimmy? What's going on, man? Ben has just said professionalism. You got your vibrator behind you and going off.
It was my wreckage siren.
That's what you call it? Okay.
Hey, don't call me Ridge, all right, Prof? Just quietly.
I bet that's smelling cheeky with that.
Because Ridge is Welsh, right? So it's a funny term too.
Well,
it's several meanings
English,
there.
But
whatever, they're all the same. They're all from the UK. That's all that matters. That were the two major stories. I guess the only other one that I want to bring up, not that it matters, but I don't know if you've heard about this actually, Vet, but Okada made a surprise appearance at New Japan Road in Anjo event. Okada revealed as Hiroshi Tanahashi's final opponent for Wrestle Kingdom 20. That's cool and all, but I don't know, Vet. I mean, I'm not really looking forward to that. It's gonna be good. It'll be emotional. So? Yeah.
Oh, definitely emotional, 100%.
Because he could see the thing about Okada is it doesn't matter how bad a shape you're in. He can have a match with you. That's why he's one of the best, because the kind of matches that he does, he doesn't have to do anything different. He can take care of somebody that can't go anymore, and he doesn't have to change what he does really. So this will be the best Tanahashi is going to be able to look on this last run of his, because Okada will take care of him. And it's fitting because who else could you really get? I mean, who else would you want to get?
True.
When I watched,
that's his greatest opponent, one of his greatest opponents besides Nakamura, and you couldn't get Nakamura, so I guess Okada is the best choice. I agree.
But I would definitely still say Okada. He just, there were just so many more times that they faced off. One of the things that I noticed when I would go back and watch those matches, because I wasn't always watching New Japan. So once I got into it, I had to go back once I saw, these guys had a legendary rivalry apparently. So let me go watch the matches from the rivalry. And one thing I noticed, or the thing that came to mind that when I would watch these matches and see how each one would progress to the next one and the different points in time, and how one guy's the champion, now this guy's the champion, or what's the story here? Can the young lion surpass the old lion, or those kind of stories? Or sometimes the young lion was able to do it, sometimes he wasn't. What I really took away from watching that, it was man, we got robbed from, because this is for the States, this is what Hart and Michaels should have been. It should have been that rivalry where they just kept like intertwining back and meeting and having these amazing matches, because Rock and Austin was fine and all, but they weren't good. Like the matches weren't good. You know what I mean? It's like, but the Brett and Shawn were just so good. They could have been telling stories for years and years if they could have just got over themselves, So that's what it made me. It's like watching Okada and Tanahashi in those matches is like that was like, well, that's what we would have gotten. So at least I got it here with these two guys being great, being selfless, putting on great matches and stuff, and telling a story within the matches, not relying on, some just concocted storyline to try to enhance the excitement of it. All it took was, just it being the Yankees Red Sox or any of those sports rivalries that have that, that built-in level of like drama. So it is a fitting end to the great Tanahashi's career. So I'm excited for it in that sense. I'm happy for him. And I'm sure it'll be good. It'll be better than any of the matches Tanahashi's probably had all year.
I hope so.
He's just so broken down, man.
It's sad to see in that sense, man. But
he never became part-time. That's
true.
The thing. When you look at these guys like Undertaker, John Cena, those guys, like they just went away for months or years. And Tanahashi was like, he just kept grinding, doing all those house shows in those small ass towns, just trying to get, New Japan to be profitable. And he never stopped from the mid 2000s to now. Like he's always been, even as president, he keeps being on the road and doing it. He never took any time off, and he is at the limit now. The wheels are off.
Jeez.
It's time to go home and rest.
Yeah, and if anyone needs it and has earned it, it's very much Tanahashi, man. I mean, even seeing him in person, just the way he walks, he waddles, man. It's crazy to see. It's just, but look, I'm happy for him. He's not obviously the same Tanahashi. When he first came in, it was two different people, man, put it that way. But nevertheless, man, I don't care what anyone says. He truly is a legendary performer in the world of pro wrestling. I mean, even any one of his peers in WWE or AEW would say the same thing. That I can guarantee. But it will be a sad ending not seeing Tana, wrestle anymore. That's for sure. And I hope it's not as emotional as the Liger Suzuki match was, because that got me the feels in that match, dude. I'm not gonna lie. Call me a mark.
That's supposed to get you feeling like that.
Right.
I think that's the best thing. If you feel emotional for Tanahashi's you're gonna see Tanahashi's last match at Wrestle Kingdom. You're gonna be appreciative of the career. You're gonna be appreciative of his matches. And when both of them are gonna hug each other, shake hands, and then he'll get probably like a 10-minute standing ovation. Well, hopefully, I don't know about the Japanese crowd, but he should get a standing ovation regardless to me. And then he'll say his goodbyes. We should be emotional because that is the definition of investment. So, I have no problem with that, Jimmy. I think we need that. I think if we don't get that emotion, then what's it worth? Then what's to have a career? What's to even watch wrestling?
I agree.
If we don't feel this, it's like John Cena's last match. You're gonna remember John Cena for his career, his greatest opponents, his best matches, and all that stuff. It's the same thing with Tanahashi. Just like Beth said, his greatest opponent is Okada because the stories was right there. Can Okada take over being the young lion over the old guard? That was a great story. And then, Vet, how many times it was like they had a couple of Wrestle Kingdoms, but it took like about 3 Wrestle Kingdoms for Okada to finally beat him in the big one or something like that. I forget.
Right. Yeah, because you remember the one I don't remember exactly which one it was, but there was one where, everybody expected Okada to win and he didn't beat Tanahashi and Okada was crying. Like he cried after the match because he was so like, I can't, but you contrast that with the Rainmaker shock of like him just coming in and beating Tanahashi for the title. And now years later, on the big stage or whatever, he's trying to do it again and he can't do it. And he's crying because he's frustrated. This shit is like, the reason it's so good is, and we don't get that in America, because the reason this shit is so good is because they never stopped kayfabing over there. So the shit is real. It's presented as real, even though it's still kind of phony sometimes. And they try to westernize it somewhat, but for the most part, they don't break the kayfabe. So all that shit means a lot more. And we don't get that here. You know, when John Cena has his last match, yeah, it'll be emotional, but it won't be as emotional as it could have.
Exactly. Right.
You know,
I agree with that.
Because you'll be thinking of the real person, but you still know that everything John Cena did was phony as fuck, right? So you're like, you know, they'll remember all the time when he would like beat the Nexus by himself or some, you know, the Super Cena, all that stuff. They'll remember that too. And they'll just appreciate the man for the work that he put in. But not only in Japan do they appreciate the men for the work they put in, but also because the men aren't really that separate from the wrestlers that are going out there. To the fans, that's all they know. They just know it's Okada and Tanahashi. Those are the real guys. So you don't look at them as playing a character. So when that kind of stuff happens, it just means a lot more. And it just kind of sucks that we don't get that in any form. You know, it would take a lot of retraining to get an American audience to accept pro wrestling as more legitimate of a sport than it is.
Because they've killed them. They've killed the fan base even in terms of that. You know what I mean? And like I was saying before, the reason why the Suzuki Liger match came in the field is because the fact that Suzuki was the one that bowed down to Liger meant so much, because he doesn't do that for nobody. Do you know what I mean? The fact that he did it to Liger was an amazing moment. You know what I mean? I was just like, fuck, that's crazy, you know? But it's going to give me, I can see it's going to have that type of vibe, 100%. But
and it's gonna but meanwhile John Cena's gonna be like, there's gonna be ads plastered all over it.
You see what I mean? Yeah, it's just,
you know, like John Cena's farewell speech brought to you by like, it's, you know what I mean?
That's sad, man.
Come on, man. There's billboards in New Japan. You know that. It's all over.
Oh no, I know, but they're not like the announcers aren't calling it out every 5 seconds either. They just put it up there and you can look at it. Fruity Pebbles says goodbye to John Cena for the final time.
Oh God, man, don't say that. That's not. We'll see what happens there.
Tanahashi's last speech was sponsored by Nintendo and Sega Genesis. I don't know.
One last thing. Oh, and by the way, you know how they said, I think, what's it called? It's going to be Joe Hendry this week facing, who was it? Someone's facing the mystery person in WWE.
LA Knight.
Sorry?
LA Knight.
Oh, LA Knight. I reckon it'll be Joe Hendry that will be facing him, in my opinion. You'll see. It's not going to be Jericho for anyone that thinks that. But anywho, speaking of, someone was mentioning about AEW should have done some work with NWA. Well, forget that, because AEW and NWA are in dispute over the Shockwave trademark. Now, I don't know if it's the NWA that uses Shockwave, but anyway, it says here, WrestleNomics, Brenda Thurston reported that attorneys for the NWA wrote in their opposition filing that the company had sent AEW a legal letter on September 26, 2024, demanding that AEW abandon their application and agree in writing to not use the name, as in what I said before, or any variation that could cause confusion in the marketplace. Thurston reported that NWA had obtained the registration for their NWA Shockwave trademark this past June, but AEW's filing remained active. Then apparently AEW reportedly filed a formal answer to NWA's opposition on July 15th, denying the NWA's claims and argued that their application should still proceed. AEW's attorney reportedly argued that NWA had not used Shockwave continually since 2020, as they had claimed in their opposition filing. AEW also reportedly claimed that the trademarks are not confusing similar, despite both being using the name Shockwave term and possibly being applied to wrestling programming. AEW reportedly also denied that NWA would be damaged by AEW's use of the name. Okay, this sounds petty and stupid, first of all, but what's the big deal, Tony? Why can't you just use something else? Like,
yeah, there's so many, any one of his branded Wednesday weekly shows, you know, all the ones that you love, Jimmy.
I love him, bro.
Yeah,
love
he could use any one of those, or just make up another generic ass sounding uncreative name.
Yeah, like
what's more uncreative? What's more uncreative than Shockwave? You know,
I mean, this is so dumb. I mean, Prof.
Well, y'all took Tony Khan's next show name. You took the wreckage away from Tony Khan, so that's why.
I remember when you said that the first time.
That's why you took. That's why you took Shockwave. Shockwave had to be taken, and since he can't have Shockwave, he's gonna have the national heavyweight title. See, it goes both ways. So it works hand in. It's 6-7 right there for the kids, right there. 6-7. Shockwave, the national heavyweight championship. It just works right there.
Yeah.
Just quality, Josh. If it's Obi, then we're in trouble because he's gonna lose to LA Knight. I don't see him beating LA Knight for whatever reason. Maybe he will, if that's the case. There is strong rumors about that, but I don't think it will be because they said someone from another company, and I don't think it's going to be anyone from AEW, for example. It'll be a TNA guy, in my opinion. But anyway, I could be wrong. Does anyone think it will be an AEW guy?
No. It'll be Moose
exactly.
Or so like it'd be like TNA from Moose or something like that.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's going to be a TNA guy regardless. Anyway, anything else to say about that? And then we can start sifting.
I don't know. I can't.
Yeah, no, screw that. Let's just start sifting and get into Dynamite, shall we? Because the more I watch this show, the more I'm starting to think this is one big parody of pro wrestling, but like a whole bunch of geeks, though, parodying pro wrestling. It's getting weird, dude.
Definitely. All right, so Dynamite. Hey, remember Hang Tony from last week? Well, here's the real Tony, and here's Joe, Samoa Joe, and here's security, and then Hang Person and Hook and Eddie come out, and we're gonna get a trios match later.
We sure do, and that's obviously the main event for Dynamite. So we'll get back to that. I've got nothing to say about this start.
Yeah. I mean, I do appreciate that Samoa Joe immediately accuses Tony Schiavone of collusion and all that stuff, because if he didn't, he would have looked really stupid.
True. That's true.
It's a small morsel, when there's not a lot to eat. Wouldn't you say, Professor? I mean, we have to, a la carte, we just have to accept these little victories where we get them. That some people know what to do still in this business, right?
I mean, this is consistent with the story between Hang Person and Samoa Joe. So, using Tony Schiavone for what he did on Fright Night Dynamite just made it perfect. But again, when Tony Schiavone was supposed to announce this national title, and then Samoa Joe comes out and interrupts this grandioso announcement, you're already discrediting the new title that hasn't even existed yet. But that's just me. I'm just nitpicking. But go ahead, Ben. Keep on.
You're right, though.
Oh yeah, well that was later.
Yeah.
So because right now what we must do is we must get Orange Cassidy and Claudio Castagnoli out here to have a match. And I believe this match is one of those like advantage matches, wasn't it, for the Blood and Guts? Like they're having 2 out of 3 falls, or not 2 out of 3 falls matches. They're having 3 possible matches. And whoever wins 2 out of the 3 matches between the participants in Blood and Guts, that team wins the advantage in the actual match itself.
Cool.
Nobody cares. We could have just done a coin flip, but it's fine.
Well, Vet, I'm not gonna. Again, this is why Dynamite and Collision was the greatest this week, because again, the concept of the coin toss is so 1988. You get what I'm saying, man? It's just so predictable.
What is a coin anyway?
You're right. What is
some people
coin?
don't even know.
Because again, it's like when you use the coin toss, the math is mathing there, because 97% of the time the heels won the coin toss. So we had to take away from that. So you have to get some nuance. So 2 out of 3 falls is not bad. Again, we don't know where it's going, because anything can happen in the world of professional wrestling, Jimmy. So we don't know, but at least 2 out of 3 falls for an advantage match, it works. You give it a chance, man. Give it a chance.
Well, like Zane says, a coin flip is war games. I mean, what do you think this is? Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, that's the thing. Like, I'm speaking now from the future where I already gave it a chance. You know, it's not like we're reviewing this match by match and then we pause the wreckage to watch the next match. I already saw it all, so I did give it a chance. And so now that's what I'm coming to you with. And let me tell you, if you want to talk about, since we spent a good portion of this show talking about how to conduct yourself as a professional in the back and what you should and should not agree to and these other things. I don't know whose idea this was, but Orange, you've got to stand up for yourself. When somebody tells you, yeah, you're going to hit Claudio with 2 of your finishers and he's just going to pinwheel his arms and he'll be fine. Like, and he's just going to beat you with an uppercut. You gotta know not to accept that. You have to just, cause if you didn't see the match, Claudio goes for his new finish is the pop-up European uppercut. Right, I don't know why he ever bothered to use anything else, because all this guy cares about is European uppercuts. I remember my tag team partner, once I had quit, but he had to work Claudio because there were Ring of Honor guys coming to OVW and working like house shows or whatever at this point. This is like, I want to say 09, maybe 08, 09, somewhere around there. And he would tell me like all this guy wanted to do is European uppercuts. So he's already been like this for like, 15, 16 years at the very least. Like he's just only cared about uppercuts. So I don't know why he bothered with the neutralizer or any of the other things he's done. This should have always been it. But anyway, so he's trying to get it over now. And he goes for it, and Orange counters into a stun dog millionaire. He just like shrugs that off, and when Orange goes for something else, he just no-sells it, goes for it again. Orange does the orange punch. Like as he's popped up, he comes down with the orange punch. Claudio just, whatever, barely selling it. Then Orange goes for something else, and then he finally hits it on the 3rd time. Just don't. Just have him. I would have just pop me up and hit me with the uppercut. There's no point in me looking extra weak. Just right. You're not even gonna sell my shit. That's just don't do that. When you have those conversations in the back, smartly protect yourself. Like, know that there's no reason. And I understand that a lot of people feel about Orange Cassidy or whatever. That's beside the point. I'm just talking in generalities. Like anything that's going to make you look bad out there. I mean, in the character that Tony Khan has presented, this guy's a top guy. So, you got to look out for yourself. Don't for Claudio, for what? The guy's washed.
For what? Exactly. For what? He's not going to do anything. He's in mid-40s at this point. You know what I mean? As well. It's for what? There's no payoff really at the end of the day. Prof, do you have anything to say about that?
I wish there was a producer for this match. Just to help out. For the normal
producer, please. Yeah. Must have been Malenko.
Well, the sad part is there probably was. And that's, but we're now at the generation of producers who were like the guys in TNA that when wrestling started going down the tubes. You know
what? TNA was the first one probably to start using the wrestlers. No, I mean, they've always used wrestlers as producers, but I'm talking about the current sort of like the smaller wrestlers, if you know what I mean, as producers. Because if you notice all the way across the board, you got Kidman still in WWE, for example. Are they even the right guys to be using in those positions?
No, but who else? I mean. But that's the thing, though. Who else is there now? Everybody else is aged out. The older guys that really know stuff don't want to go on the road and everything. So that's where you're going to get a Petey Williams. Right.
You know what I mean?
The hell is he going to tell anybody? Abyss? Are you kidding? Why?
I know. You're right.
He's going to tell you how to gig your arm. What is Abyss going to tell you? So
that hit me. That one's so true about Abyss.
All right. So Renee is with Mark Briscoe and Don Callis and Kyle Fletcher, and they promised no physicality. That was very nice of them. Long story short, Mark Briscoe's great here as always. Okay?
I love this segment.
even though it's, you know, the general kind of setup and everything is corny, but he's always he's good in this as always. He basically wants a no DQ match at Full Gear. You know, it's like, you're gonna kick me in the balls, let's make it legal, is basically his point. And they flip it around, and Don has a stipulation where, like, well, okay, but if we win, you join the Don Callis family.
I can see it. It's gonna happen. I'm telling you now, Vet, it's gonna happen, bro.
But you know,
he's right.
What a
swerve. That's such a swerve, bro. No, but for real though, I mean, they are a bunch of dorks. What Callis said about his group, you know what I mean? He should just piss off, get Briscoe away from all those idiots. At this point, in my opinion, I think it would be somewhat intriguing if he's forced to be part of the Don Callis family or whatever you want to call it. So I'm actually rooting for Fletcher in this match just to see what they can do with what's it called? With Briscoe being part of the group. I mean, Vet, wouldn't you rather that? At least there's something to it. He'd be like a hostage pretty much.
No, I just wanted to beat him and take the belt.
Well, there's that too.
See any of this? I don't want to see any of that.
I just don't
because you're talking about the idea of it, and I'm thinking of what we're actually going to get.
So you think he's going to win? He's going to beat?
No. I mean, what I'm saying is, like, if he joined the family, you're thinking of, like, that's a good concept. I'm thinking If he joins the family, it's just going to be shitty skits on TV more.
You're right.
They're going to ruin it. Like, they won't do it well. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, rather than have to sit through bad television, I'd rather just him win the belt and move on.
Yeah.
So,
but will it happen? I don't know. I doubt it.
That's why we watch. That's why we have the matches, to find out who's going to win.
Intrigue. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Professor, what would you rather? I was just telling Jimmy while you were getting your headset, I was just telling him, like, I know what we could get with Mark Briscoe join the family, but I'm thinking about what we would get. So I don't want that. I just think he should just beat him and take the belt and let's move on.
But it like you said, it makes interesting television.
It would if it wasn't AEW coming up with it. That's where I'm worried.
That's the problem. Exactly.
Hopefully Mark Briscoe has enough years in the business to understand what works on television if he is to become a member of the Don Callis family, because the best way to infiltrate is from within. Mess up people's matches, maybe mess up the Okada and Takeshita union, the partnership there, mess up Hechicero. So it makes good TV that forces everybody in Don Callis family to beat the shit out of him right there. Or well, you know, it would have been funny. Well, this would be old 80s booking, because if Mark Briscoe would have been maybe the servant of the Don Callis family, or maybe serving Don Callis himself personally, not becoming a member of the family. Or he could just take L's. He could be like, he could just do the job himself. Like, look, 1 minute, I'm down. And Don Callis loses money because Mark Briscoe is taking L's like that. So, you know, you have interesting ways to make it entertaining on TV, but I'm in the majority with you guys. Tony Khan does not know how to make it interesting for television.
Right.
That's the problem.
Well, he's got free ideas to steal from what you just said if he wants it. So if he's going to go that way. J12 says that Brian Cage was complaining on Twitter last week that he was left off the family painting.
Yeah.
Oh, was he? We'll suffer.
See, that's smart. That's a way to go into business for yourself, but it's like you're not really hurting anybody. You're having fun, you know?
But is he though? Or do you think he's, wouldn't put it past
Jimmy, for fuck's sake, Jimmy. God, can you stop for 1 second?
I don't know anymore when it comes to these guys. But anyway.
Yeah, I guess I don't blame you. But anyway, Renee is with speaking of I don't know about these guys, Renee is with the Young Bucks. And of course you also got the great Josh Alexander and Don Callis. And this is basically Renee's, giving them and I guess Don too, like Renee wants to know, and Don also kind of wants to know, like, is you is or is you ain't, as far as them joining the family or whatever officially. And then no real answer. do a bunch of unfunny stuff here trying to be funny, but they don't actually answer it. So, and now here's the reason the professor's here, because we have the CEO face versus the Babes of Wrath in a tournament first round matchup. So this match was weird. Not only because of the booking, but the match itself was weird. Willow got 2 hot tags in this. Like,
wow, dude.
Like,
boy, did I get this wrong, by the way, bad.
Yeah.
Like real bad.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on, but ultimately Billy Starks came out. She tried to help. Statlander neutralized her. And then we suffered the ultimate indignity of Athena being pinned by fucking Harley Cameron.
What the fuck, bro?
Now,
I thought these two were going to win the whole thing, but no.
Professor, I know you want to take a victory lap. I know you want to say I told you so. I know you want to say all that. All I'm asking you is to concede that Harley Cameron don't be needing to beat nobody.
I can concede that, but
okay,
I will take.
That's all I need. Now say everything else you're going to say.
But I will take a victory lap about politics. I will take a victory lap about who's got Tony Khan in her back pocket. I will take that victory. But again, if you want something to be done for the betterment of the women's division, you guys would understand that Willow Nightingale should have been the woman to pin Mercedes Moné. So this way we can actually think, oh my God, can Willow be the woman to dethrone Mercedes in a future Dynamite, a future Collision for the TBS title? That's all I wanted. That doesn't affect Mercedes Moné's, momentum. It doesn't affect the 14, 15, 16 belts that she has. No, but it just proves the point. And then, like that said, Harley Cameron, of all people, beating the forever champion of ROH. Miss 1,000, is it 1,000 days? I don't know, but neither here nor there. But
certainly over that.
Right.
Miss 1,000 days of being the forever ROH champion. It's Harley Cameron. Fucking give it to Willow, dude. Let her do that. So this way, maybe we can see the forever champion have the stiffest competition in Willow Nightingale. But I understand Harley Cameron. She's funny on TV. She's jovial and people like her. So you know what? Give her a bone. Not literally from a man, but give her the bone and let her have the chance, because I know this is going to be on ROH TV. So I'm going to, subscribe to Ring of Honor to see her become the new Ring of Honor Women's Champion. It's going to happen. I think it's inevitable.
Jimmy?
I've got nothing to say. What Prof just said just killed any
laughing.
sort of...
While you talk, Jimmy, I'm just laughing. I'm just taking my victory lap.
No, you just made me feel so like, you know what I mean? Just the thought of it. So I got nothing to say.
Yeah, this is disgusting. It basically put a damper on the whole week. It doesn't even matter, like, if I'm a fan of theirs. If I was just looking at this objectively from who these characters are, you just tell me, oh, this person hasn't lost this person's only lost 5 times in 5 years, and this joke character that does singing and puppets and all this other stupid crap and is the comedy relief is like gonna beat that, and it's gonna go down like this, and you got a whole tournament to go, and you're gonna try to build up some drama with what you got left. Everything about this sucked. I mean, all kidding aside, it sucked. But anyway, back.
Before we go into the next segment, all kidding aside too, but if Tony Khan wants to pull that trigger for, let's say, Harley to become the ROH champion, what does that mean to the Athena character even after that? What say you?
It's dead.
Okay.
Wasted. You wasted all your time. That's one of the biggest investments that you would just then turn into like a complete waste of time. Okay. Because it's not going to help anybody. It's not going to help Athena. It's not going to help Harley Cameron.
It's going to help
because everybody's comeback. Everybody's comeback would just be if she wins, right? Everybody's comeback will be, well, nobody gives a fuck about Ring of Honor. Nobody watches Ring of Honor, so it's gonna it's just going to attract more negative attention onto like, what, Ring of Honor's still around? Like, it's not going to help anybody. So it doesn't actually do anything. It would actually be worse for Harley to win that belt than to not win it. And that's one of those rare cases where, actually winning is worse for you. So that's what I think about that. Now back to the kidding and the joking around or just the general lightheartedness. I would like to point out though, that as you would talk about, Willow Nightingale and being the person to dethrone the TBS champion, I will also like to remind everyone that this horrible tyrant Mercedes, who is just ruining all these companies and hogging belts for herself and only cares about herself, I will remind you that it was Willow Nightingale who, when Mercedes broke her foot in a match in New Japan and changed the finish on the fly to have Willow win the New Japan Strong Women's Championship when Mercedes was clearly supposed to win.
Right.
But Mercedes called it in the ring to have Willow beat her, to the point that the referee did one of those things where he just stopped counting. So she had to do the finish again. I will say, so there is a precedent and there is a story for title matches with Mercedes and Willow Nightingale that you could play into if you want to do something with that down the road.
We shall see. And she beat Willow for the TBS belt, if I'm not mistaken. She did beat Willow for that, so she can get that.
Right.
Get it finally get over that hump. That's the way I look at it.
Right. But see, even just the fact of like Willow having already been the TBS champ, it's like, it's hard to remember. I wasn't sure. I thought she was, but I don't remember. Yeah.
She was. Yeah.
No way. I don't actually recall her being TBS champion. I kid you not. Wow.
Well, if it's not Mercedes and if it's not Jade Cargill, no one remembers. So
I thought it was Jade Cargill only, like before that, right?
No.
And Statlander, that's it.
Yeah, Statlander. But whatever, it doesn't matter. The point is, this was gross. This whole thing was gross. It was a gross injustice. It should be stricken from the record. They should be reinstated in the tournament. Some other team should walk out in storyline and have them have to insert themselves back in as like a second chance replacement or something. Anyways, Tony Schiavone announces that we're going to have a casino gauntlet, battle royal, whatever thing match to crown a new national champion. Now, Professor already cut a promo on this early on at the top. The only thing I want to say about this is there is a national champion in the NWA. His name is Mike Mondo, my trainer, my buddy. Okay. A real wrestler, a real worker. Okay. Like he's better than literally almost everybody in this company. Okay. He is the national champion as of right now. So that's a national champion. I don't give a shit who wins this thing. Whatever bullshit, this battle royal or whatever, whoever you decide is going to give one of your 29 belts that you already have. Okay. The real national champion is and will always be Mike Mondo. But Professor, if there's anything else you'd like to add to this whole thing.
Again, like I said, they had the concept already when it was the All Atlantic Championship, because that was what it was supposed to be, to defend in New Japan, CMLL, and all the working partnerships that they had that Tony Khan has done. And then they morphed it into the International Championship, which kind of like dismissed all the stuff from the All Atlantic. But then when you had the International and then you created a tournament championship called the Continental, then you morphed that together to become the Unified Championship, which there are
literally
3 belts.
The Unified Championship. That's all.
The Unified Championship is 3 belts. I forget 2 or 3 belts in one, but neither here nor there. And now you recreating a championship, which Vet said is already being done in NWA. But Vet, just like you talk about with ROH, nobody, again, that retort will be nobody watches NWA, so people won't know Mike Mondo is the true national heavyweight champion. So it is what it is on that. But again, you created a championship with the moniker and the tradition that you already had years ago, and then you dismissed it. So you're just creating another type. Again, I'm not opposed to creating a championship to give maybe lower tiers a shot at something, because again, you could give it to Ricochet, you could give it to Shelton Benjamin, you could give it to Orange Cassidy, you could give it to Roderick Strong. There's a plethora of people with a deep roster that could go after the national championship. So, hopefully maybe this is a Vince Russo swerve type of thing, because my booking would be Mike Mondo will come into Dynamite holding the belt, being like, you be like in the crowd with his belt, just showing off like when the national championship is going on, because maybe you can make something that looks real into something for maybe a AEW pay-per-view down the road. I'm just saying, Vet, would you like that if they would be a working relationship like that?
That would be great, but based on what Jimmy detailed earlier, it looks like we're not going to do that.
I know.
So, but yes. Now, as far as now, before I get your take on it, Jimmy, I would like to just also add that, the way you describe the championships for lower tiers and things like that, I kind of think about that the way Jerry Jones wanted to expand the playoffs because Dallas couldn't make the playoffs. So we need more teams in the playoffs because my fucking shitty team can't get in because the Cowboys suck. Okay, so let's expand.
We can't call it the AEW Participation Championship. We can't do that. We have to give it a nice name.
Right. So rather than like expand the parameters of the entire system to accommodate your shittiness, I would much rather just have less champions and maybe less wrestlers if you can't cut it. That's all. Simple, so man. I think more people, the answer is never more championships, because eventually everybody's going to get a championship. So
I'm confused. What's he thinking all the time? Why the obsession? I don't get it, dude. Like it drives me nuts thinking about it. Like
I'll tell you, it's a simple answer, Jimmy. It's the same answer it has been since we started doing this show.
Is it AEW?
Okay. No. It's hot shotting.
Oh, okay.
Hot shotting comes in many forms. It could be, doing a bloody violent match or whatever, but it can also be just creating a belt out of nowhere. Like, I'm trying to look a shiny championship belt. This is a symbolic of something is happening. You know how nothing ever happens? Well, here's something, a shiny belt. It's happening. Here, look at it. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. That's hot shotting. It's just, you don't actually build up to something. You don't actually earn anything. You just pull something out of nowhere and say, look, somebody's fighting for this. It has no history. It has no prestige. You can name it something that something else has been named, like the national championship, but this belt that he's going to have is a thin air belt. It has no history. Right. It has no lineage. It's nothing. It's just another belt for somebody to win. So in essence, even in a fake sport, this championship literally means nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
I would rather, you tell me, like, if wrestling's a shoot, okay, I'm an AEW wrestler. You tell me I'm in the national championship battle royal. I'm like, actually, can I get in that $1 million money match? Because that's what I want. Because $1 million is worth $1 million.
Fuck yeah, absolutely.
This fucking title ain't worth shit. Not in prestige or in money. So I'll take the $1 million. Even if it's a work $1 million, I'll still take that.
And Vet, Jimmy, think about this, Jimmy. Just months ago, they unified. They had the unification match between Okada and Omega.
And Kenny, it was Kenny, yeah. Right.
To unify those titles, to give it more prestige and all that stuff. That's the problem. Prestige. You took that unification match and made it nothing by recreating another belt for this concept that you already unified for. So I ask you, are they going to unify the national title and the unified title? What are you going to name it after that?
What's it going to be called after that?
The world title. Oh my God. And now we've got a dispute. And now we got to have a unification match with Hang Person. Okay, so there you go.
Well, he's the men's champion. So how you gonna unify the men's champion with the world title right there?
It's the men's world.
planetarium.
It's a man's world, and then the theme song,
Yeah.
everybody's theme song automatically
Man's
changes to the
world.
James Brown song. Yeah,
Yeah.
like no matter what your theme was before, it now has to be this. Yeah.
Everybody.
Oh my God, what?
Can you
God,
imagine?
what is going
I'm
on?
just here to give you logistics
Wow.
right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it's it's
Wow.
very logical. So the Hurt Syndicate comes out, and they're like, yeah, we should all be in there. Well, not me, says MVP, but these two guys. And then the Demand comes out, and he's like, you guys are old. And then nothing else happens. They just say things to each other and both walk away. No violence, no nothing.
I hated this segment actually, man, because it made the Demand look even more cartoony, dude. They came across as so cartoony here. Like, I just didn't like it. But yeah, what can I say? This whole thing just, there was nothing to it, really. Just a bunch of complaining.
Right, and they're just on the announcement of a new meaningless title, two trios come out and complain about a singles title. They complain at each other over a singles title.
Dude,
so,
oh my God, man.
Well,
Anyway.
at least we know the 6 competitors that have put themselves in the national heavyweight Casino Battle Royal. So at least we got 6.
It's great. It's amazing. And, I think, Professor, this is unfinished business between these two teams.
There you go.
There's a Northern Hemisphere Championship. I mean, hey, you could call it that.
Yeah, all this stuff has to go. I'm tired of it. I'm so tired of it. Like there's so many belts that like, even if it's just what I cover, like I don't even have Raw and SmackDown shows. That's you, Jimmy. But just watching NXT, TNA, and AEW, and just looking at all these pointless belts.
Dude. I've told you that, even off the air, that I feel bad about that. But anyway,
and they just keep making.
Tough.
But here's something. Speaking of money match, Lil Brooks Jensen takes his knife and sticks it in $100. Why?
I don't know.
He says the Young Bucks need this or something like, but he just stuck it on some like equipment, just like outside their locker room or something. So anybody could come by, pull that knife out, and then they get a free knife and $100.
Yeah. I mean, it's a win-win right there.
Especially since they just did on camera. So everybody should know it's sitting right there and they could go take it. Yeah. Pretty good. You know what else is pretty good? Darby versus Danny. I know this was everybody's favorite. Mm-hmm. I like Darby Allin, but I'm not watching this. Come on.
This was long, man. It felt anyway.
Yeah, it was long.
Me too.
He reversed a sharpshooter, or a Scorpion Deadlock. Daniel Garcia got a Scorpion Deadlock on, and Darby reversed it because he is now the master of it. So even a wrestling wrestler like Daniel Garcia can't out wrestle Darby Allin. And then it turns into a schmoz. But I do like, one of the things I do like about Darby, Professor, is that, he has established that he is, a wrestler, but he will just get crazy when he has to. And that's just part of his thing. But when he's actually working as a worker, he's a good worker. And so we know that he's doing these things on purpose. And it's not because I got no skills and I can't get over and all this other stuff, so I have to dive off stuff or onto people. We know that he's really good, and he just is a psychopath that chooses to do this, and he wouldn't have it any other way. So that's one of the reasons, like, I always respect Darby, because when he does want to just get on the mat and do what a pro wrestler's supposed to do, he does it, and he's very good at it still. Just people don't see it that much.
Hey, I'm a fan of his too. Always have been. But yeah, sorry. Go for it, Prof.
No, you can finish, Jimmy. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I'm piggybacking off what Vince said. I've been saying the same thing. I mean, we've both been saying how much we're fans of his for years now. It's just now he's starting to get a little ridiculous, especially with that. For me, what's the end game for him? He's not going for no championship. What's?
Yeah, it's just the situation has become ridiculous around him.
It's just, weird. That's my problem. But anyway, go for it, Prof. That's what I want to say.
I think I could just say this. It's like everybody's biasness against maybe Darby and Orange Cassidy gimmick-wise, just like Beth said with like Darby's thing. if you separate the gimmick and say, well, this is why I don't like this person, and then you kind of like look at what they try to do in the matches, yeah, they have pretty good matches when they choose to have good matches. So it goes for both Darby and Orange Cassidy on that. So I look at Darby and, again, besides Hank Person being the leader of AEW because he's the men's world champion, is Darby the conscience of AEW? Because again, for this War Games that he's going into, I don't even know who's, at least old school, we kind of like had an idea who was the captain of the War Games. Like, back in '87 when the Horseman was in the War Games, you knew Ric Flair being the heavyweight champion was the captain of the War Games. Who 100%. Going into this one, we know that Jon Moxley is the captain of the Death Riders going into this Blood and Guts. But on the other side, the conglomeration side, which everybody is friendly and everybody has a participation trophy, everybody's equal, they got
the friends couch.
Yeah, all the wealth distribution is handled equally. We just don't know who's the leader who's the captain going into this. And this is, like I said, is Darby supposed to be the conscience? Again, Sting gave him the ultimate rub for years. So put it to some good use, as Jimmy has said. Does it mean a title? Well, it should have been. He should have been the heavyweight champion because then it would all make sense in the world. But he just chose not to do that.
He literally chose not to do that. That was his choice, believe it or not, which is weird and bizarre in itself. But whatever makes him happy, I guess. I mean, it's silly, it's dumb. But yeah, it is what it is.
Until Tony Khan creates the AEW Skateboard CrossFit Championship, he will go for that one and say that's going to be the most important title I'll ever want.
Don't conjure that, please. Whatever you do.
I can't believe I'm even going to dignify whatever they're doing with a comment, but I just really want to, even in this whole war, supposed war, that's the problem. Like the stakes of which there are none,
None.
like if you think back to other angles that were even somewhat similar, like when the NWO came in, what the tagline, we're taking over, right. You felt like it was a war between one company and a group that were forming their own company. Right. And what's going to happen to WCW if these guys do take it over? Like, that's the kind of the story there. And yeah, it eventually got watered down and they got away from that, but at the time, that's what it was. It felt like there was some sort of an actual stake where something could be won or lost.
Absolutely.
Right?
And you felt
the problem,
it too.
the whole problem with the Death Riders is the Death Riders were one of many factions in AEW, and there was never some sort of a doubt of that they were outsiders or that they were trying to take over AEW or that they were all these other things. They were only running around committing crimes all the time and for some inexplicable reason not fired or arrested for any of these things. So it really never made sense, and none of the matches could have meant anything because winning or losing the matches has changed nothing. And that's where we are. We're having a blood and guts match, but for what? If the Death Riders lose blood and guts, are they just going to break up? No. If the Death Riders win, does that mean they took over AEW? No. It means they won a fucking cage match. So there's really no reason to watch this. These things are all just being done for their own sake. And if you want to look at the WWE version of that, look at how long they extended the bloodline angle beyond when it was already dead.
Over 4 years.
Like there's two separate occasions where, Solo's side of the family fucking lost and he still did not acknowledge his tribal chief. So like, why do we keep doing this? Like, why do we keep having these matches? Or what is this War Games match that's going to happen to Survivor Series? What is that going to mean? What's going to matter who wins that? None of this stuff has anything on the line, but we're presenting it like it's life and death. So is that all there is, to hope for somebody's death in one of these matches? Like,
that's
the Death Riders haven't killed one person, no matter how many times they tried, and boy, have they tried on camera, right? No arrests, no convictions, but they have tried and they are not writing any death. It should just be the typical garbage match implement writers, because it's the same thumbtacks, bullshit, plastic bags, whatever. It's like, yeah, okay. Welcome to a necro butcher match. It doesn't,
Exactly.
it's not that there's nothing special about anything they're doing. So here we go. And we're just going to have to watch two teams fight it out for what exactly?
So basically you're saying that the only justification for this blood and guts match is for Tony Khan to go on social media, maybe an hour before his major announcement. The winner of this blood and guts match will get the blood and guts $1 million trophy.
It's not too late.
It's not.
He can still do it. We've still got a couple days. Yeah. You can save this, Tony. We'll everything will be forgiven if there's a trophy on the line.
I'll laugh if he does it, man. We'll see what happens there.
All right, so FTR comes out, and I'm like, snooze. And then they call out Brodito. I'm like, extra snooze. And it turns out that Stokely has locked Brodito in the locker room. And then they go over to, FTR goes over to meet Fam Dito. And Fam Dito sitting there, of course, Gravity with his mask on and everything, and Grandma. And, Hollywood Axe the Axe Axon is making some uncool comments to Grandma. Grandma is not smartened up at all. She has no idea how to react to any of this. I couldn't believe it, but it was hilarious. And so then they, eventually Gravity's had enough. So they just beat him up when he tries to defend the honor of his grandma. And then Brodito finally break out, and they end up running off, these horrible, horrible bald people and Cash.
Bald people. They're bald people.
This was Professor's highlight of the week, so I'll let him say what he wants to say about it. And then
we have to remember, Brody King punching through that door with his fist and then getting Stokely, and the face that Stokely made was pure magic. It's pure comedy, pure acting gold there. That's what
Stokely's great, man. Still, absolutely.
And I blame Mama Dito for not, being hip to the business, even though Brodito is supposed to teach Mama Dito what is supposed to go on. That's the problem I have. That's all. It's okay.
It's a shoot. They got to shoot Grandma and not a working grandma.
Yeah.
What about you, Jimmy? Were you amused by the way she was like, nothing she did was in reaction to anything they said?
Yeah, well, good. I don't blame her. So yeah, that's how I felt at this point. So yeah, I'm with you all the way, man.
A segment is only as good as their dance partner, and she was the bad dance partner. That's all I'm gonna say. Not FTR's fault.
Yeah. I wonder if they're like, didn't you just clue her? But anyway, it was just, I just didn't care.
Well, Tony Storm's on commentary for. I said in Australian, so Jimmy threw up in his mouth a little bit.
No, I like Tony Storm, but God damn it. Anyway,
Mina Shirakawa versus Megan Bayne in another one of them advantage matches. This was man, it was on. How long was this on there? Yeah, this is on there for a while. Marina came out from the crowd to choke Tony Storm, so you could hear it because she's still wearing the headset. And then Megan hits the Liger Bomb on Mina, and another schmoz happens, but it's a different schmoz because this time the ladies are having a schmoz.
Ooh! Didn't Tony Storm was on when she was getting choked? She said, "Help me, Tony!" Yeah. Tony ain't gonna do anything.
No, he's definitely not. No.
And she's making herself look so feral these days. The lipstick sort of going off sort of track. Starting to remind me of the old Chelsea Green character, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
when
hot mess deal.
Yeah, the hot mess thing. Isn't it similar when you think about it? And I dare say that Chelsea pulled that right off way better than even Tony Storm. I'm just done with her gimmick right now, man. I don't know where she goes from here, but I don't know. It's not funny anymore. It's not making me laugh like it should be anymore. She just comes across as just weird.
You want her
I
to
just saw
take a break?
I just saup J12's comment about Axon. Put that up. Put that up.
Dax is so soft he can't even shoot grandma. What do you have to say about that, Prof?
How dare you, J12? It's all Mama Dino's fault. You know this.
And Zane, just quietly, what would Jimmy do if Megan Bayne was Australian? They freaking say she's from Greece, for crying out loud. All right, I'm just saying. That's even worse to me. From Thessaloniki, get the fuck out of here, man.
Thessaloniki, New Jersey.
Yeah, Thessaloniki, New Jersey, just like Bombay, New Jersey. I mean, seriously, man, come on.
Bombay, Michigan.
Oh yeah, Bombay, Michigan. Sorry, right, exactly. That's what I meant to say.
It's a real
That's
place,
awesome.
Jimmy. It's a real place, Bombay, New Jersey.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
All right. Well, this also really happened. The Ops versus what do I call this team? New York shit. I'll call it New York shit. That's of course Hank Person, Hook, and Eddie Kingston. Guys, again, Hook giving up.
What happened here, bro? He looked
I understand
like a
Hobbs
fucking
breaks
idiot,
backs.
bro. Yeah,
I
but
understand.
come on, bro.
Hobbs breaks backs, but he had a perfectly good Eddie Kingston's back to break. You know, leave the kid alone. Like, what are you doing here,
Dude?
We're regressing now. You had a Goldberg run, and now we're doing this. It's not,
dude. I can't believe. Rewind back 3 years ago. Was it maybe longer? Man, we were so into Hook, bro.
There was
You know
a
what I mean?
debate. There was a debate between Hook and Dominic Mysterio. Who was going to be the future
Oh my
of wrestling? And people picked Hook over Dom, but not me. I picked Dirty Dom. I knew he was
I've always called out Dom for years, all right, and I used to get shat on for it. So I'm laughing about that now, but I feel bad for Hook because Hook, they've totally killed him. They've exposed him.
well, Hook's father is much less over, so you can't.
Well,
can only get so far with that.
Father,
right?
Yeah,
and I can see how his dad running his mouth all the time would make people not want to push the son.
Right,
you know?
and he probably
so it's lucky that he's got as much as he's got. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. It's just, I don't know. It just wasn't.
How weak though. He comes in to try to stop whatever was going on, and then he gets torture racked. That was it. It was done. Like tossed like a piece of shit, and that was it. He's done.
Yeah. Well, you know.
R.I.P. Hook.
Yeah, we had a decent run.
We can't do that. We know that there's a. Just like Ben has always told me, has calmed me down. Tony Khan has a plan, Jimmy. Tony Khan has a plan for Hook to maybe redeem himself, and the only redemption he could get, even though he took the backbreaker from Hobbs, and then a week prior to that, he took the chokehold from Samoa Joe. He's gonna have to get his revenge somehow, some way against the Ops. Preferably against Samoa Joe in a one-on-one match. But again, neither here nor there. But again, Jimmy, do not fear because Tony Khan has got the pen. He's got the paper. He's got a plan. Vet has taught me this. I'm
pretty sure I've said the exact opposite of that for years now. Like, I don't know if I've ever once accused Tony Khan of having a plan. I think I was saying the opposite. I think I was trying to convince you he surely doesn't have a plan. I think...
I can go back. I can go back to the tapes. We can go back.
Yeah, check the tapes. Let's check all the tapes. Go back in the archives and check all the tapes. And we appreciate you guys for doing that.
What Labrat said in the chat is going to happen. He's going to be Booker of the Year this year, once again, reclaiming his damn imaginary whatever it is for Booker of the Year. Fuck that. Guaranteed. He's going to win it.
Yeah. Yeah, I just, well, the clear thing to do here would have been just get the Ops, just get DQ'd. Just because they don't care. They didn't want this match anyway. So just have them just get, when the match goes outside, just have them just grab stuff, chairs, whatever, just smack them whatever. You don't actually have to you don't even actually have to have them win. You can have them lose in a DQ. They keep the titles. You know, nobody has to get beat. No one cares. The whole point was that the Ops look dominant and it's a schmaz or whatever. Like we've already had several schmazes. So just do it that way. Why beat Hook? Why beat anybody? Why beat certainly not going to beat Hang Person. You know, you shouldn't beat Eddie either. So just have them beat them down with weapons and get DQ'd and then everybody wins. But no, that's too much to ask for, I guess.
You're asking for way too much of it.
What a bad teacher Eddie Kingston is for Hook. You know, he's supposed to be teaching Hook the ways of professional wrestling, you know, being a mentor, and he is not only quit twice in a row, but he's looked weaker since leaving.
He's looking bad, right? It's true, man.
We got to keep an eye on those abs. You know, let's see how long he can hang on to those abs under the tutelage of Eddie Kingston. Don't.
I love when they fade away.
You know, just.
Oh, shit.
Okay. It's time for Collision. We're opening up with FTR versus the Bangs. The Learning Tree is watching. Bandito, Gravity, and Jet Speed come out and, you know, surround Stokely, and he gets beat up, and then they kick Cashson, and then Axon gets DDT'd by Juice, and 1, 2, 3. The right guys win, I guess. I don't know. What was this all about?
Never say FTR does not do good business. FTR is always about good business.
What was the business?
They got more than 3 minutes here, though. That's the deal.
But what was the business on having the Bang Bang gang going over right now?
The optics is FTR is on a losing streak. They're disheveled a little bit. And then by full gear, when they become, was it 3-time tag team champions? Whatever. I forget the number. But 3-time tag team champions, it will all be for naught. Because then Edge and Christian will come out. And remember, like I said, it just seems like that's the path to get to that match.
And I think I didn't realize myself. You know what I mean? Literally.
What she thought she saw, you did not see.
I did not see it. I did not see what I saw.
All right. Yeah, I guess that's what it is. We'll go with that. Tony Khan has a plan. After Dynamite, is After Dynamite its own show? Because they kept saying that, and then they kept showing these little videos. Like, do I have to go to their YouTube channel and watch a new series in a playlist called After Dynamite because they keep having these interviews? But anyway, this one was Renee asking Fletcher about what happened earlier. Like, hey, you remember earlier when Don said that if Mark Briscoe loses, he has to be in the Don Callis family? And then Okada comes in and he's like, hey, we are the captains of the Don Callis family. And once we win and retain our titles, we'll be Proto-Okada.
Oh, my God. Seriously. Where was Takeshita for crying out loud?
In Japan, I think, defending the title or promoting for, you know, his title defense.
Oh, okay. Cool. I guess. I mean,
Okada just had a birthday too, so if you want to wish the Rainmaker a late happy birthday, yeah.
Oh, happy birthday, Kazuchika.
Yeah.
How old is he now?
He put out a tweet that said like "Thank you, bitches" or something. For everybody that wished him happy birthday.
I love that though. That always pops me. But how old would he be now? 38, 39?
I think he's maybe 37.
What? Still only shit. I'll just double check that, but you're probably right.
Dude, I remember when he was
in
still
TNA,
in his 20s, man.
Yeah, so do I. Let me just see.
I think we have to remember this. Okada was watching the wreckage, and he knows that Vet names tag team. So Vet, he was trying to impress you with Proto-Okada. What did he do wrong there?
Attach himself to Kyle Fletcher at all. That's the main thing.
Well, just quality. He is 38, by the way. He just turned 38.
Wow. Time is slipping away from me too.
Wow. Crazy.
Yeah. Well, anyway, speaking of Kyle Fletcher, he's going to take on Ace Austin here for a good long while. And the Bang Bang Gang stays back, though, because even though Kyle Fletcher has like this whole family of guys backing him up. They thought, nah, you got this. So they take off. And it looked like they didn't need to worry because nobody interfered. And Ace looked like he was handling his business. Matter of fact, Ace kicked out of the Brainbuster.
Ooh.
So you let this fucking guy, this cruiserweight, I mean, he did compete in the Super Juniors tournament. You let him come in. You're going to kick out of your finish. For what?
For nothing.
Again, a great showing.
He had to break. Strong showing. He had to break out the that guillotine thing where he fucking tries to slice the guy's neck off with the top turnbuckle just to beat this fucking guy. Just to beat Ace Austin. Ace Austin, of all people. Ace Austin. Kick out of my finisher.
I think we just got to look at it from this way because, again, the Bang Bang Gang is not complete, guys. Let's be honest. Without JY and without Colton Gunn, this group is not complete to where the potential is there. So Ace Austin is trying, and again, Ace Austin is relatively new for the AEW bunch to be taken seriously because of all he's got to get the TNA stain out of him. So he has to have a great showing against Kyle Fletcher, the protostar, and stuff like that. I don't know why this match went on for it felt like 23 minutes. It could have been less. It just felt too long because I saw 2 commercial breaks. I'm like, nah, I'm about to fall asleep here. But again, I stayed awake to watch this. But I think Tony wants to have Ace Austin, put on a great show, great effort, so this way we can take him seriously. And of course, he's going to be in this casino battle royal. So maybe we can believe he could be the new AEW National Heavyweight Champion to a degree.
Yeah.
Don't laugh, Jimmy. Don't laugh, Jimmy.
One can only hope.
Yeah, exactly. Just God.
All right.
This is atrocious, man.
Statlander promo. Speaking of atrocious, Statlander promo and some stairs. She has focus, guys. That's one thing Mercedes doesn't have. She has too many belts. She couldn't possibly be focused. So Stat just focus on her one belt. So she's gonna win. And then another after Dynamite segment where Don Callis offers a favor to the Death Riders. Like, if you guys, I know you guys got a Blood and Guts match coming up. If you could just see it in your hearts to cripple Mark Briscoe for me during that match at some point, I'll owe you a favor.
Well, yeah.
John Moxley didn't like that. The insinuation that he needed anything from Don Callis. So he got in his face, but he didn't say no exactly. And it's the Death Riders, so they might try anyway. We know they'll try to murder. They never succeed, but
with a bag, particularly.
Yeah, maybe. So we'll see.
Screw these guys.
Yeah. All right. So Ty J versus Nixon Newell and Miranda Alizé. Oh, no, excuse me. Let me scratch that out. Let me scratch that right out. It is now Hyan and Maya World.
Maya World. What a name. How creative is that, right? I mean, Jesus.
Well, she was thinking about Maya Continental. She was thinking about Maya All Atlantic. She was thinking about, Maya,
Undisputed.
Yes. But she settled on Maya World, and she settled for a 3-minute loss here that somebody else was supposed to take. Next is Lexi with Athena, and Athena is just as disgusted as I am about this whole situation.
I don't blame her.
She's going to make, in her words, she's going to make Harley an MIT puppet. Now, she's not talking about the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. She's talking about Minion in Training. So she's going to Billy Stark's Harley, which means beat her into submission and to the point where she's basically a zombie that'll do whatever she says. I wouldn't mind that.
Wasn't Jeff Jarrett supposed to become world champion this year in AEW? Anybody?
No, last year.
Year's not over yet. It's still got a few weeks left.
This is his final run, Prof. I don't know if you remember that, but anyway. Never had a run to begin with.
Nope. The last outlaw.
The last outlaw, yeah.
What do you think Jeff Jarrett thought of Dark Sky.
I mean,
Versus Jamie Hayter.
You're late, Jimmy.
wait,
You're
wait a
late.
minute.
You're so late. You know what's
I
coming up.
know.
Read the run sheet, goddamn.
There we go. I'm not gonna say Jamie Hayter, but yeah.
Yeah, you don't need to. She's just normal.
Yeah.
She's normal. She also, as normal, she's gonna win this match with the Haterade. Then the triangle comes in for the triangle attack, and then the babes run out, and security runs out, and it goes right into Harley Cameron versus Tekla. And yes, Harley Cameron tried. Yeah, but she, Tekla's no like Athena or nothing, so easily she's gonna beat Harley Cameron. Obviously, no problem.
Like no issues at all.
Yeah, so the heels get the advantage because this was the tiebreaker match. Yeah, all Dark Sky had to do was win that match, and we wouldn't have had to see this. But
At all. But nope.
So yeah,
Who would have thought that Harley Cameron was the one to split the tie? It was all on her.
I was sure, by the way,
after the win from Athena,
Yep.
after beating Athena,
the momentum, the all-important momentum, Professor.
yes,
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And she's the only woman in all of AEW that can just beat Megan Bayne's ass at any given, at the drop of a hat. Just immediately start beating her ass and throwing her around and making her take bumps and stuff. Nobody else but Harley Cameron can do that, but she just couldn't pull off the win here against Tekla when it all mattered.
That's bad.
Well, anyways, moving on. Lexi with Jet Speed. They're both entering the gauntlet. Lexi with Gay Times. Tony, they are announcing that they are not going to be the Acclaimed anymore. But Lexi is telling them that Tony said that all the metrics are up when they're the Acclaimed. So they're going to be the Acclaimed at the Tailgate Brawl. Or she's making it sound like it's their choice, which the last time we did this, it made it sound like it wasn't their choice. Like he just booked them like that. This time she's saying, like, if you guys show up at the Tailgate Brawl, you should show up as the Acclaimed because you'll make more money. It's basically what she's saying. I don't think it works like that, but just going along with the idea of it is fine. We just don't have any consistency of that throughout the show. But so we're continuing on with this, the story about the two guys that are reluctant partners, forced to do it, whatever. But it's in the lamest, like, most missed opportunities ways possible.
I think Gay Times makes more money than the Acclaimed. That's just me.
It definitely does. And I'd never heard of them before, but I'm sure that's true.
I love it.
Actually, you know what? All right.
What?
So Steamboat and Flair are going to be in Greensboro. I'm sure they'll love everything they see.
Oh, they're going to love it. Love it.
Right. And then we got Jon Moxley versus Roderick Strong for the final, advantage thing match, whatever, for the Blood and Guts.
This was a hard-hitting match, too, surprisingly. I mean, Roddy suddenly is just kicking the shit through people, man. The last couple of weeks. You notice that?
Well, he always does that. If you really notice,
I know.
That chip on the shoulder is a shoot. Like, he really just...
back in Ring of Honor days, right?
Yeah, in all of his matches, he takes everything. Like, doesn't matter how big the guy is or whatever. Like, they're getting their back broken.
It's true.
Yeah.
And this time, he was the old self again, which I hadn't seen in a long time in many ways.
Well, the only thing that could stop Roderick Strong is his own wife, because she trips him when he goes to hit the ropes. And then Kyle O'Reilly has to come out there and be like, hey, what are you doing to your husband? And then Yuta comes in with a chop block. Like, fuck you. Fuck you and your leg. And then he tries to grab a chair and get involved, and the referee's like, hey, you Death Rider anarchist guy that does whatever they want and never gets fired or arrested or anything, you're out of here. And he's like, what? Because that's exactly what an anarchist, evil murderer would do. He'd just be like protesting to the referee, no, don't kick me out. Anyway, while he's doing all that, Pac is over there beating up Roderick Strong and getting a table ready. And then Daniel Garcia comes out and he ends up going through the table. I should have disavowed this, but I didn't because he technically wasn't booked in the main event. He just showed up in it. So I, couldn't disavow it. He goes through the table. So I look at it as a nice compromise. And then Moxley tries to get back in the ring though, but somebody's grabbing his leg. It's not his wife. Oh, no. It's Darby Allin. And Darby Allin's got a, death grip on that leg. And Moxley gets counted out. So the good guys get the advantage. And then we don't know who it is at first when John Moxley gets counted out. But once he finally, once Wheeler Yuta goes to look and, takes a stun gun to the chest, that's when we find out that it's Darby. And he chases everybody around with his stun gun like he's Harley Race in a 1990s WCW lockup.
I have no problem with this, Jimmy and Vet. I'm just looking at the optics for myself. I mean, Darby, I weigh more than Darby. Darby weighs 155 pounds soaking wet, maybe. Again, I don't know how much he weighs, but again, neither here nor there. But, Jimmy, you get it. 155 pounds, and he's holding John Moxley, who probably weighs 210, maybe 220 or something like that.
220, I think would be spot right.
Lean and mean, right, Jimmy? He's holding him. He's holding his legs.
It's a Professor. That's a leverage thing. I mean, it's all that dead weight located all in one place. Like, if he was on his back, I could understand, but weighing that leg down and the leverage, and he's got who knows what he's anchored himself to under that ring. Like his legs could have been tied to something under that ring.
I know Hornswoggle was down under the ring, holding up Darby so this way to make more weight. I got that, Vet. I'm just saying it just doesn't. The optics. Maybe you could have had more people from the conglomeration holding his legs. I'm saying maybe Darby, maybe who else? Well, Kyle was already taken out of the match. Maybe Mark Briscoe. You could have had Mark Briscoe holding the legs or something like that. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Could have, should have, but didn't. So.
It's Darby. It's just Darby.
Or wait. Since we saw the stun gun doing a play action with the stun gun, right? Why didn't Darby just use that on his legs? So this way Moxley could have just been like, ow, or just kind of like fake it like that. Oh, and he couldn't get back in the ring. I could use that.
This is AEW, though, Prof. Come on, man.
I know. I'm just saying.
It never happens. Again, the logic. You just don't. We never bring up logic anymore because they don't.
Yeah, they don't, Jimmy. You're right. I'm just saying. But you could have had maybe Orange and Darby holding those legs, or use the stun gun to make Moxley go back to the barricade and be shocked. Why is he shocked? What's going on right there? He's like placating that. And then when Darby's out with the stun gun, then everybody can, part the seas, if you know what I mean, Jimmy. So they didn't do that way. Optically could have looked better.
It sure could have.
But I will say this, Jimmy. I know you don't agree, and I know people in the chat don't agree. Vet wants the coin toss. It's a War Games tradition. But remember, it's not War Games. It's blood and
guts. Yeah.
Different trademarks. So different trademark needs different traditions. So
Excellent.
You were right here. You're right here. We're right here, Jimmy. You got it. I wanted you to do it without me telling you to do that. But
I should have done it ages ago, right?
But I'm just saying the tradition of a 2 out of 3 falls match, it has some legs, guys. We cannot deny this. If you do it better, it has legs to make it a nice tradition. That's all we'll say. A yearly tradition.
Yeah, but change it up a little bit. Do something. But anyway, go for it, Vet, unless you wanted to add on.
Yeah,
to
I was trying to figure out some metrics I could share about gay times. The only thing I can really find is that they have like 1.4 million followers on Instagram.
Wow. That's quite
but
a lot.
AEW has 2.7. So, almost twice.
I thought this is what the world was watching literally these days.
Yeah.
Of course they are. That's where the best wrestle.
No, but it's a long running publication, and based in the UK, and it's won many awards, and some stuff.
Many
Doesn't really talk about the circulation numbers or anything like that. So,
well, I know they don't want to call themselves Gay Times because they don't want to be sued by Gay Times. So, they're already being sued by NWA. Why add a publication on top of this litigation?
Absolutely. But, with that being said, that brings the sifting to an end. And, here we are ready for, this time next week, we'll be talking about this Blood and Guts. And I'll probably really gloss over that too, because, that's just what tends to happen when they have these long ass cage matches where a bunch of stuff happens. And I'm just not going to take notes on what happens in these matches. And there might be kendo sticks involved, which means I get to disavow it. So one can only hope that there will be a kendo stick in each Blood and Guts match on Dynamite, and then I basically won't have to watch the whole episode almost.
I will guarantee this, guys. Darby Allin will go off the top of the cage and do a coffin drop. Guaranteed.
Oh, God, man.
I don't
know if that will work out well for him if he does it off the top. I was thinking about it. He's going backwards.
He's going to find a way. You know this. He's dumb like that. I'm not even joking.
He's dumb like that. You're right.
He's going to do a coffin drop off the top of the cage.
From the highest of highs to the lowest of lows.
Dude, if he does that, I mean, because that's really risky for him. Honestly, it really is. It's not like he's doing a forward splash. You know what I mean? Or that's going literally backwards. But anyway, we'll see. Hopefully he doesn't do it, but knowing him, he probably will, like you said, Prof.
Yeah, he'll be all right. He'll be all right. Let the boy do what he wants.
I guess so. Well, in saying that, boys, speaking of that, Vet, are you jumping on the Twitch now?
Probably not today, but
yeah.
When I eventually do, you can find me at Opinion Haver there, as well as every other social media platform. You can find me at Opinion Haver, except no substitutes. All the major ones are me. If you see anybody else using that name, you could probably tell pretty quickly that it's not me. So don't be fooled. Not on Blue Sky, so that guy ain't me. And that's the reason I'm not on Blue Sky, because I'm not going to take a secondary Opinion Haver to somebody else that's already on Blue Sky.
Yes,
that son of a bitch.
Fuck that imposter.
He probably hates me too for all the, because I've got the majority of the social media stuff.
Oh, you brand for sure, 100%.
But anyway,
100%.
Yeah, if he wants it, he can make me an offer. Anyway, at Opinion Haver everywhere. Check out the Impact Attack every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 p.m. Eastern or thereabouts. I mean, last week we just turned the Impact Attack into the continuation of the Raw Watch Along because TNA didn't even give us an episode. They gave us a Hardy Boys recap. And if you thought I was going to talk about that, you're out of your mind and you have no idea who I am. If you want to, so check out me and Brandon this Monday evening, please, if you'd like. It'll be a good time. And, also check out the Raw Watch Along that Brandon does here on Hameen Media Group as well, leading into it. Check out myself and Ray Hernandez on the Next Level Wrestling Review every Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. We talk about NXT and, by extension, TNA. So you can find out all the stuff that's going on there with the brand cooperation, as it were. Check out Wrestling with Rip Rogers every Friday. That's a good thing to check out. Rip Rogers is, I'm a Rip Rogers guy because Rip Rogers made me into who I am. He even named me the Vet. That's a Rip Rogers name, not my name.
Oh, wow.
So check that out every Friday at their concrete time of noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, and come with the questions and ask Rip anything you ever want to know. And who knows, he might even answer it. It surely won't be the answer you expected, but it'll be the answer you get. Check out the Stevie Richards show every Friday. He don't call it a podcast. It's a show. It's definitely a show. It's the best show. It's the best wrestling related show out there. So if you want to see a great, well-balanced piece of entertainment with all the highest production values, the Steve Richards Show is where it's at. And that's every Friday at, whatever time they release it. It could be different. But it's certainly on a Friday. And, of course, you got Limpin' Ain't Easy with Timmy Baltimore every single, probably every week. Usually around Wednesday. I don't know. Depends. Just subscribe and like and click the bell to get notified, and then whenever there's new Limpin' Ain't Easy content, you will be informed. And that's about all I have, Jimmy.
Oh, well, as far as I go, you can catch me Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, of course, with myself and Big Ray Hernandez for I Like a Raw right here on and exclusively on Hummy Media Group's YouTube channel. Of course, go check out the Smack Attack with myself and to the B to the V, where look at our mugs over there for our fun Friday. And it's also going to be the New Day Friday nights right after SmackDown, 10 minutes after SmackDown goes off the air. We'll be going forward doing those nights every week from now on.
Super hot and fresh.
Super hot and fresh, man, for a shitty, crappy SmackDown that they've been absolutely delivering week in, week out. So, yeah.
Did you say shitty or titty? Because I heard...
Well, there was titty as well. Hey, I've got the picture, but I don't know if I should put it up. But like RBV said, there was salamis popping out. Well, not salami, pepperonis, shall we say, were popping out of Charlotte. But if you guys didn't catch that, so go check that out. But Prof, what's going on here? Is this the latest episode of yours?
Yep, that's the latest episode. We'll have a new episode next week, but that's the most recent episode. Greatest heel turns. Bob Backlund goes nuts. 1994, and you can, join in the nostalgic fun, Homie Nights. YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Reflection. That's the link. Subscribe to the channel and follow the fun with myself and the Tommy Wonder. Maybe next week we'll do a greatest rivalry. So I'm trying to cook up something for all the Homie Nights to enjoy. So follow the link, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Reflection Podcast. Thank you guys for having me on here.
Very nice. It's always a pleasure, man. You're part of the team now, Prof. Remember what I said to you before. You literally are part of the team. It's always an open door policy with us. But
yeah, no more load management.
Yeah, exactly. But in saying that, I guess time to say goodbye. So I am Jimmy T. He is the best in the world, Jamie Levette Williams. And of course, he is the magnanimous and the glorious, the Professor, Chabelo Vera Cruz. And, I guess till next time, peace out and take care. See yous.
Peace.